the checkers here at Knoxville Raceway.
Checker flag is out for Spangler as they come across the line here.
The 217 coming off of 4. It'll be hit.
Coming there on 3 and 4. Salas gets win number 2 of the night.
Randy Shreves from 19th to victory.
The cars 3 and 4 out here. It's going to be Watson for the win. It's going to be Shreves getting the win.
He sees the checkered flag win. Give it to William Watson.
All right, here we are at Volusia here tonight for your limited late models this Wednesday evening as they are out here getting ready for warm-up, well, rather qualifying right now. So thank you everybody for joining us here tonight. As we see, there comes your qualifying grid. See who comes out on track first. Andy Patton in that number 87 out there somewheres. I see him out there coming out of turn number 2 down that back straightaway. Here in the 3 and 4 tonight. Who's it going to be? Hopefully everybody has who they want to cheer on. As you watch them down out of the corner in the 1 and 2. Bobby Good there. Looks like he is currently 4th at the moment. Brett Wazlowski there in the number 25, setting an okay outlap. Bobby Good here with a 15.976, but is beaten by Joseph Grandy with a 15.718. Andy Patton with a 15.777. And you watch him time roll in there, down there on the bottom of your screen. And you see Bob the Good currently there in 6th. Dean Reynolds out there. There's Brian Dickens. Dean Reynolds coming here out of turn 3 and 4. Currently 5th. Can he improve the time? He comes there currently 7th. And no, does not look like Reynolds will improve the time. In fact, ends up dropping there into 8th with a 15.841. Kurt Schatzer out there on the speedway in that 218. Now we got Stephen Bixler back there in the back. Justified Becchio there in the 147. Running a 16.105. Now you watch these drivers out here rolling there off the corner down there through 1 and 2. With a 15.71. Or, I'm sorry, no, that is a... What his time to beat was a 15.718. There, everybody's locked in now. We've got just a little bit of time left here for these drivers. And there we go. Checker flag waves here in the qualifying. And we get set to roll here tonight with your Mission 22 Hometown Heroes Limited Late Models. Starting here on pole for heat number 1 is going to be the 007 of Sam Bachman. Sitting in 2nd tonight, Brian Dickens driving that number 122. Row number 3 on that inside lane, the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. Row number 2 there on the outside, starting in 4th, the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Row number 3 on that inside lane, the 41 of Pat Boyce is going to start there in 5th tonight. On his outside, there in row number 3, in 6th position, the number 25, Brett Wazlowski. And then rounding out your field tonight is there in 7th position on that inside lane, Michael Vecchio, there in the 147. I'll go and take 2 laps around here as you watch him right there on the back straightaway. Trying to get everything situated they do here as we get ready for tonight's race. 6 laps the distance here at Volusia. Off turn number 4 they go. One more time around. The IBB 007 Sam Bachman out there as your control car. Joseph Grandy there in the 518. Going to be starting there in 4th. Vecchio back there just trying to get some laps in at the moment. Off turn number 2 down that back straightaway. Everybody's fired up, ready to go here tonight for your Coast to Coast Racing Network and the Coast to Coast Racing League Mission 22 Hometown Heroes this Wednesday night. Pace cars off. Barney grabs the flag. Green flag is out there, down away here in the corner number 1. Letting the dirt fly through 1 and 2. Down that back straightaway up there to the outside lane. Goes that 518 and Randy looking like he wants to try to make something happen as he's outside of the 218 of Shatzer. Now to the outside of the 007. That's outside lane really pulling forward there with the 122. Brian Dickens leading the charge. Now with the 518, Joseph Randy there behind him. Randy's now going to try to find out which lane he wants to try to work there through 3 and 4. Fast out there in front as they come down there in the corner number 1 and 2. That gap being only 0.1 of a second. Down there out of corner number 3 and 4 they go, the 518. Looking underneath the Dickens, got a little wiggle there coming off a board. Ends up having to get back in line there behind Dickens as they whirl through 1 and 2. Gonna take another shot down the back straightaway here in the 3 and 4. Diving it in there, right there behind Dickens as he stugs in tight there on the bumper. Down here in the 1 and 2, 2 laps to go here in Heat 1. As you see, Randy there in second. Down there on that inside, he's gonna stay right there with him. On the outside, there he goes, trying to keep that momentum high. Now his final lap. If Randy wants to win, he's got to try something now. Down out of 2. Stays in behind here in the 3 and 4. If he wants to try, he's got to try it now. Down there to the inside on the bottom. Can't quite get it to roll off the way he needs to. He'll end up there in second. Brian Dickens taking the victory here tonight at Volusia for heat number 1. Heat 1 results are as follows. Of course you'll do that tonight, huh? Give us one quick moment as it wanted to give us a hiccup here once again. And we can get this to come back up here so we can get the results that you're looking for. Results for heat number 1. They're gonna be not coming up. All right. So, I'm not sure what's going on there, why that's doing that. We don't have the grid either. There goes the grid. That's coming back live. Wonder why this isn't coming up. There it goes. There's your Heat 1 results. Brian Dickens there in getting the win. Joseph Grandy second. Samuel Bachman there third. Kurt Schatzer fourth. Fat Boys there fifth. Will Wazlowski there in sixth. Michael Baccio there in seventh. Now your starting grid for heat number 2. Dean Reynolds starts on pole. Stephen Bixler, who is outside. Second row, Bob DeGood with Andy Patton. He's outside. Jeff Sharp there in fifth. Jeff Barker in sixth. And Steve Moore there in 7th. All right, here we go. Now that we got everything situated once again. Working down that back straightaway, another 6 laps of distance. For heat number 2. Pace car moves to go down. Here they go off of turn 4. Barney grabs the flag. Now they head on out here in the 1 and 2. Down there through. As they work out there on that front. Up there off of 2 they go as Dean you see out there in front. Working down there through 3 and 4. Trying to get that thing hugged in there. Does a great job hanging on to the lead right now. But Bixler's down there on that inside lane. Going to try to slide it up. Can't quite get there. Gets real sideways. Here comes the 7 of Bob DeGood now there to the inside. As he gets that inside lane to work for him there a little bit. Reynolds there on the preferred line. Off of 4 down there through the front straightaway. 4 laps to go here in heat number 2. As they roll through 1 and 2, you'll see the 280. There, Jeff Sharp up the inside underneath the Stephen Bixler. As that inside lane tries to get something together. Reynolds out there in front as they work their off turn 4 down through 1 and 2. Reynolds doing a great job out there in front. Great paint jobs on these cars here. In Coast to Coast, as always, you see that number 7, Bobby Good, there in second. Bixler back there in third. Jeff Sharp down there on the inside as they work their off of the corner. And through 1 and 2. Leaky Good trying to get up there to Reynolds. 2 laps to go. I think the Good's going to be in the same area that we saw last race. As you see the Good trying to get up there. Can't quite get enough momentum there as Reynolds comes off a 2. Down the back straightaway, there in the 3 and 4 they go. Reynolds runs the preferred line, going to run a little bit down. Off turn 4, Dean Reynolds will win heat 2. Have everything calculates in my head. That should put him starting outside pole here for the feature. The warm-up's underway. We'll take a quick look here at your heat 2 results. As you see, Dean Reynolds gets the win. Bob the Good, second. Stephen Bixler, third. Jeff Sharp, fourth. Andy Patton, fifth. Jeff Barker there in sixth. And Steve Barr in seventh. We'll be back after this short message. Don't go anywhere. Your main event for your limited late models coming up right after this.
Thank you to our sponsors and partners for the 2025-2026 winter season.
Back here from the speedway, you watch from there off the corner. Brian Diggins up there on that outside, trying to make sure he's got some laps going good here. As you see that 122 working there off turn 3 and 4. Checker flag waves here in your warm-ups. Dean Reynolds out there. Now we'll get to your starting grid for the main event here from Volusia. The limited late models. Brian Dickens starting out there on pole with Dean Reynolds to his outside. Row number 2 on that inside lane is going to be the Joseph Grandy driving a 518 to his outside, starting fourth. Bob DeGood driving at number 7. Row number 3 on that inside lane, the 007 of Sam Bachman's going to roll off in fifth, and to his outside of row number 3, the 6th spot going and starting the number 75 of Stephen Bixler. Row number 4, the 280 of Jeff Sharp starts on the outside there in 8th. into his inside in the 7th position, Kurt Schatzer in the number 218. Row number 5 on that inside lane, the 41 of Pat Boyce is going to roll off in 9th with Andy Patton driving the 87 there in 10th. Row number 6 on that inside lane, that's going to be Brett Weslowski there in the 11th spot, driving the number 25. He's got Jeff Parker to his outside, driving at 513. Back here in 13th position in row number 7, that's going to be the 147 of Michael Vecchio. And Steve Marr on the outside, driving the 888. Starting there 14th tonight. So here we go. Everybody lined up, ready for the grid. 25 laps the distance. We will see how they battle it out and show here at the end. As they come here out of the corner, they go. Up the corner, number 2. Dean Reynolds on that outside lane. Dickens on that inside. Coming there off the corner. Dickens there, as we said, your control car. On that bottom side, Dean Reynolds up there on the outside lane. Comes there off turn number 4. Barney's got the green flag. They're down and away. Dirt flies into corner number 1 as Reynolds has the preferred lane up high. Going to put that power down. 3 wide off of turn number 2 as they head on out there. They had looked like Dickens had to back out of it. Reynolds now going to look underneath of the 518 of Grandy. Grandy looking good though. He's now stuffed it there in front of Dean Reynolds down there off of 2, 25 laps the distance, as we said. Now 24, they roll here through 3 and 4. Reynolds out there in second spot as he's got Brian Dickens there third. Sam Bachman there for Bob the Good. They're in a bid, driving at number 7 to 75. There's Stephen Bixler. Back here in 6th, everybody single file at the front. As you watch that 007 of Sam Bachman looking underneath. Can't quite get there as of yet. Working there off turn number 4. Andy Patton and Jeff Parker having issues back here at the back. As Jeff Parker has some damage on the front end of that machine. Not sure exactly what happened there to Andy Patton. As a 2 wide coming there off turn number 4. As Reynolds gets shuffled back there in the 3rd, almost in the 4th. As Bachman had a good run there on the bottom side. Now you watch, there comes Bachman once again underneath of Reynolds. And we got one way up there to the outside wall. That's going to be the 218, I believe. Nope, I'm sorry, that's the 75 of Bixler. Now you watch them down there through turns 3 and 4. The 007 trying to get underneath of Dean Reynolds. Brian Dickens up there in 2nd. Randy's putting some gap between everybody as he's got it almost up there to a 2nd gap between Grandy and Dickens. And you see Reynolds there in 2nd. Trying to battle. Here comes the 280 of Jeff Sharp on the outside lane. Trying to get our momentum run up there on the outside of Bob the Good. Can't quite get there. Gets underneath though, coming there out of 2. Down here in the 3 and 4. The 007 of Bachman gets there in the 3rd at the moment. As you see that 79 up there on that outside lane. And looks like Bachman will go and make that completed pass as Reynolds now looks underneath. 17 laps to go. Now it'll be 16 as Randy comes across the line. Down here in the corner number 1 as he is slowly gaining on the lap machine of Jeff Parker. Michael Justified Vecchio back here in 12. Rolling around here trying to get laps under his belt as well. There you see the 41 of Pat Boyce. The image on the front end of that machine. Not sure what Pat got into. Stephen Moore up here in the 10th. Now you watch the 75 there rolling underneath the Schatzer. Bob the Good. And there you see the cluster with the 25. Brett Brett Weslowski there in fifth position, working underneath Jeff Sharp. Now they work on down there. Jeff Barker with a black flag and had to pit. Jeff Barker there now on pit lane, and watch coming there. Off turn number 4, the 25. Up Brett, working underneath Jeff Sharp and Dean Reynolds right there in the mix as well. Now you see that 25 rolling down there out of the corner and through 3 and 4. Reynolds now going to look to undercut. He gets a nose under. Can he make it happen down here in the 1 and 2? And he'll get into the 25. Oh no, the 25 goes up and around. And that'll bring out your first caution. Let's go back here and we'll take a look at this first incident between Jeff Barker and Andy Patton. Hey, watch these two come here into the corner 1. Hey, see Jeff Barker there in the 513. And, oh no. Tough break there for the 87 of Andy Patton. Not what how he wanted his night to go. Now we'll get back here and take a look at our most recent single caution here. Hey, watch. There comes the 79 underneath the 25 coming there in the corner number 1. 25, I'm not sure if they didn't choose the right line or what happened, but they come together there at the entrance of 1, and the 25 gets spun around up there onto the outside lane, bringing out your first caution here this evening. So contact there between the 79 and the 25. Andy Patton out of the race. Now we see the front end of Dean Reynolds all crumpled up. Hopefully that's not going to hurt the motor too much. Dean seeing how durable that wrap job is on that machine. They're now lining back up side by side. Oh, wait a moment. Randy wants the outside. That's going to put Dickens there on the inside. So your leader chose the outside lane here. For the restart, as they come around here out of turn number 3. Tread will pull that pace car down there on the pit road. Barney will grab that green flag and get them back underway. Hopefully we can finish this one out the rest of the way. As they come here out of turn 4, down that front straightaway. Barney's waving that flag, dirt slide. Dean Reynolds up there on that high side. Grandy gets a great restart. As they whirl there off of 2. Now there goes Reynolds up there in the 3rd for the moment. But the 007, Sam Buckman, gonna fight hard down there on that inside as they slide there off turn number 4. Everybody's so caught up there. Look out, 4 wide now through turn 3 and 4, and I didn't think that was going to go that smoothly. And they end up coming there off the 280. Jeff Sharp gets bounced around, 4 wide once again, and they get stacked up once again there in turn number 3 and 4. The 888 going around the 25 there involved as well into the outside wall. Track block, caution should wave. There it comes. I would see that 747 of Michael Baccio up there on that outside lane. As they say, cautions breed cautions. And we're seeing that here tonight. They just stack up coming there off turn number 4. I mean, it's just hard to see there. We'll see if we can get a better angle of it. We know the 25, Brett Weslowski, is involved there coming off the corner. Now you watch them down there. There we go. Great camera shot there as they come there through. You can see them all just stack up. Yeah, man. 280 pretty much getting a good chunk of that. Getting into the back end of the 888 of Steve Moore. We got a couple more sitting there on pit road. Jeff Sharp, Steve Moore, Jeff Barker, Andy Patton, Michael Baccio. But out of those 5, Baccio and Barker are the only ones on pit road. Sharp, Murray, and Patton all pulled it back to its truck. I see him coming there off the corner. 122 there, Brian Dickens. Joseph Grandy out there in front. Single file restart. Fred pulls off. Bunny grabs the flag. Here we go. Down and away. 6 laps to go. In the corner number 1 to go. Everybody fights for position. Dean Reynolds ends up getting something back to about 6. There after that contact is made, so he'll end up behind Bob the Good. Red Boys there in for Brian Dickens and Van Buckman trying to get up there off turn number 4. They're side by side down here in the corner number 1. That Pat Boyce watches on from 4th to 2nd and 3rd position there. Battling side by side. 7 laps to go. Here through 3 and 4. Buckman now gets a good run, but look out. Here comes Dickens once again on that inside lane. Down there through 1 and 2. Onto that back stretch they go. As Dickens gets there in the 2nd. Here comes Buckman down on the bottom once again. Working through turn 3 and 4. Grandy not really letting any competition around him. There's a battle for 2nd there behind him. 5 laps to go. Dickens and Buckman still battling for 2nd and 3rd. You see Pet Boys back here in 5th. There's Bob the Good, Kurt Schatzer, and Dean Reynolds. They're all stacked up once again. Coming there off turn number 4. Down here in the 1 and 2. Reynolds up there on that outside lane to 218. They're underneath them. As Grandy works there off of 1. Brian Dickens there 2nd. Sam Buckman there 3rd. Pat Boyce there 4th. Bob the Good in the 5th with Dean Reynolds in 6th. Kurt Schatzer in 7th. Brett Weslowski there in 8th. Stephen Mixler there in 9th. And watch them all off the corner. You see there. Down off the corner. On home here, you got them side by side. 007 there in the 2nd. Joseph Grandy out front. Now Dickens back in the 2nd spot as he gets underneath of Buckman. Coming there out of turn 2. Out of turn 4 comes Joseph Grandy. Lights a flash and he will get the win here at Volusia tonight in your limited late models. Joseph Grandy, your winner. Brian Dickens 2nd. Sam Buckman there in 3rd. Pat Boyce there in 4th. Bob the Good in 5th. We'll get the rest of your rundown here in just a moment. And it comes into me your official results. Joseph Grandy getting that win. Brian Dickens 2nd. Sam Buckman there in 3rd. Pat Boyce 4th. Bob the Good there 5th. Dean Reynolds 6th. There in 7th. It's Kurt Schatzer. Brett Weslowski there in 8th. Stephen Mixler there 9th. Michael Machillo there in 10th. Stephen Maurer there in 11th. Jeff Sharp 12th, Jeff Parker there in 13th, and Andy Patton rounds out the field there in 14th. All right, here to get with it. We're gonna get here with the cars. Now we see here with our winners. Got to make sure I got them in the correct order. Now we show here, 3rd place going to Sam Buckman. Good evening there, Sam. How are you?
Pretty good. You?
Oh, doing well. Man, what a race out there from that 007 FTM machine.
Yeah, I had a pretty fast car, to be honest. I think I could have, if I would have got past Dickens, probably could have contested for the win, but just luck, I guess, was not in my favor.
Well, you got there. Dickens really had a great race going there tonight.
Sure did.
You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting third place tonight?
Yeah, all the boys over at FTM, Gunner at Swan Speed Shop, Dean over at Super Dirt Car Series, Shaggy TV, Vertex Graphics, obviously you Flieger for doing the broadcast and Coast to Coast.
Alrighty, great job there. Can't wait to see. Are you coming out for the 360s?
I ain't a real big sprint car guy, so probably not.
Alrighty, well, you have yourself a great night there, Sam.
Thank you, you too.
All right, I was Sam Bachman. Now I'll get with Brian Dickens. Good evening there, Brian. How's it going?
Going well. How are you?
It's going well. You started first. Unfortunately, you just couldn't hold off the 518 there, Grandy.
Grandy was really quick. He had a flawless race, man.
Well, you had a good race there, too. I know you really had battle for that second spot. Bachman definitely gave you a good run for the money tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tight, close racing. Low paint rubbing, and I'm good with that.
Good dirt track racing tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, you got sponsors, shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting second place tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Dirt Track Bank, Mission 22 for sponsoring this, Hammer Down Racing, Kurt, Joe, Brandon, Weta, everybody here that puts C2C on. Thank you for doing the broadcast, and that's about it.
All right, well, it's our pleasure doing the broadcast, especially whenever we can have great racing going out there, no matter where the position, whatever position it might be. We try to capture all the action here as best we can. So congrats on second place again, and we'll see. Are you coming out any more tonight, or are you one and done tonight?
I'm one and done, man.
All righty, well, congrats, and have yourself a great night.
You too.
All right, that was Brian Dickens, your second place winner here tonight. I do not see Joseph Grandy anywhere. And so, we'll have to wait to try to get with him another time as he got the race win here tonight. Great job out of that 518. And, don't go anywhere. We got more racing coming up after this short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We got the 360 wing sprints coming up after the commercial break. Stay tuned.
1, 2. I love it, Molly.
They say it's a matter of time. 1,000 days and the sun won't shine before I come back to you. For your love I will go far. I wanna be wherever you are. I know I'm coming back for you.
Brother, it's good to see you.
Our love is a river long, the best ride in a million wrongs. I know I'm coming back to you, and I'm happy, nothing's going to stop me. And I'm happy, nothing's going to stop me. I'm making my way home. I'm making my way.
Our biggest thing is getting the word out, awareness of Mission 22, the struggle as it is to fight PTSD and suicide. My name's Corey Decker. I'm the state representative for Mission 22. The issue has been great. We got a bunch of great guys that have gotten together and decided to create this rally. The word's getting out, and it's turned into quite an event where we can actually help a lot of veterans. It's a great event, but you really have to go and see it for yourself, and it's really one of those things that's an experience. Just going that weekend, we've seen how it changes people.
All right, here we are from the Speedway as practice commences. Now we got Grandy out there in the 518. Brian Moore, Dean Reynolds out there in the 79. Everybody's getting here lined up. So it looks like we got about 12 drivers in here. Zach Chapman, Shaggy TV, making an appearance here on Wednesday night. They're in the number 72. Guys, Ted York out there in that number 09 for Skull Sim Racing, driving for Narc. Gavin Chatham out there in that number 99. Full throttle motorsports machine there on that inside thing. They work there off the corner. Great job so far. Alrighty, schedule read 7:45, so that is what we're waiting on. We've got about 5 minutes here practice left. So bear with us here. And in the meantime, we can go ahead and look at our points. As the point standings here for the 360 sprint. And I gotta get that changed there on the scoreboard. The hometown 360 sprint score sheet has Jeff Sharp leading the way with 552. Ted York in second with 441. Dean Reynolds there in third with 430. Jeff Parker in fourth with 420. Bobby Good there with 380. So it'll get interesting here as we got just a couple races left to go here as this is week 10. So 2 more weeks, next week and the following week. And then that'll conclude the season if I'm looking at things correctly. Hey, drivers really hanging out there, getting them laps in, making sure that they got it all dialed in the way they want to. Now these drivers, they're running what we call a fixed setup. So everybody's going to run the same setup. The only thing is that they can change is going to be steering ratios, the wing they can move forward and back. A couple other things as well, but for the most part, these are a fixed setup race, as they all are here on Wednesday night. Thursday night as well, they're fixed setups here on iRacing. As you watch Ted York take a couple laps there, Zach Chapman not in here yet, not unloaded yet. He is here, but not unloaded. As you see Bob the Good working there out of the corner. Got another 3 minutes here of warm-ups. Now we do have Machio coming out there. Somebody coming out there. Machio did put in a lap. There you see the 513. Gavin Chatham. They work there off the corner. I got Ted York down there on the bottom side here at Volusia. We will leave Volusia here in Florida and head northward for the midgets after this, as the midgets will be at Lernerville tonight. See that 55 there, Brian Moore coming off turn number 4, down that front straightaway here through turn 1 and 2. Jeff Barker out there in that 513, 6 fastest right now in warm-ups. There you see Brett Weslowski coming there off the corner in that number 25. Got Dean Reynolds down there on that inside lane. They're running that black and gold, number 79. Just Racing Boys design. Number 79 working there out of the corner. Great job on that machine as well. They watch them work there on the bottom side, up off the corner down there in the 1. Couple more moments here and we will be back to getting with the green, or getting with qualified here in just another minute or 2. Jeff Sharp, as we said, I believe, yes, is your points leader. Not in the race tonight. So that'll open a door up there for Ted York to help close that gap. 7th in points. Two heats tonight, 6 cars apiece. Hey, watch me here, coming there. White checkered flag here in practice. See who comes out here on the track first. Randy comes out. There comes Brian Moore coming out. There you see Bob the Good in that number 7. He heads there through 3 and 4. Back out here on the front straightaway. In the corner, number 1. Through 2 out there onto the back straightaway. Heading up there onto the top side through 3 and 4. Dean Reynolds out there making his lap. Out there in the number 71. There you see the 72, Shaggy TV. Down there through 3 and 4, trying to hang on to it. Here he comes there off 4, down here through 1 and 2. Right now, Joseph Grandy, York pulls there. Oh no, up into the outside fence here in qualifying. Ted York with a 13.196. Coming there off turn number 2, will not improve his time, so he'll be with a 13.196, starting second most likely. And you see there comes Steven Bixler off turn number 2, currently 6th. Does he improve his time? He had a 13.282. Chapman, no, he put it on a better lap with a 13.277. Pat Boyce out there, he's got himself, as we got Chatham rolling into the pole in that number 99, Gavin Chatham. Gonna come out here and put down a lap time of 13.159. Michael Machillo did not qualify. Qualifying should be coming to an end here shortly. It's Chatham, and there you see Chapman, Chapman out there. Mr. Shaggy himself running here this Wednesday evening. Oh, Heat 1 coming to the grid. 6 drivers. They're going to be starting. There we go. I don't know why it's hanging up here tonight, but it is. Steven Bixler will start on pole here in your 360 wing sprint cars with Brian Moore, who is outside driving a 55. Row number 2, that inside going to the 3rd place driver, Ted York in that number 09. Gavin Chatham starting there in 4th as he was the fastest. They invert that top 4, as we always say. Here in row number 5 on that inside lane, Pat Boyce driving a number 41. Into his outside there in 6. Brett Weslowski there in the number 25. That is your starting grid for heat number 1 as they get rolling here tonight. Down there out of turn 2. Radio seems a little loud here tonight. Here we go, off turn number 4. One more time around. From there, off turn number 4. Down there on the front, down there on the bottom, you got them coming there, off 4. Green flags out. Moore getting a great start up there on that high side. Gonna bring Chatham with him. Had to back out of there a little bit as Bixler comes up there to the outside lane. Now here comes Chatham down there to the inside. Ted York looking there in fourth now as Chatham gets himself up there in the third. Working there off the corner, and let's just take a quick look here at the point. Chatham, I'm not seeing him in the points until way back there to 25th, as he did not run a full season. So Ted York would love to get up there and get a win tonight to help his point standings out. He rolls the bottom there. He's got to get around the 99 of Chatham. 3 laps to go here in heat number 1. Chatham looking there underneath the 75 of Bixler. Ted York gonna follow him on through. Has the 75 up there on that high line. Has to try to keep it there as Ted York down there on the bottom, side by side, coming there off turn 2. Ted York now going to dive it in here to 3 and 4, trying to get that third spot away from the 75 of Bixler, but can't quite do it. Brian Moore out there for the final lap here in heat number 1, down that back straightaway for that 55 Gallum Chatham there in second. Ted York there in third, down there on the bottom side. He will get third place. Over top of Stephen Bixler, as you see, Brian Moore getting the win here in the 360 results for heat number 1, coming in here in just a moment. Here is your heat 1 results. There we go, Brian Moore there in front, Gavin Chatham there in second, Ted York third, Stephen Bixler fourth, Pat Boyce there fifth, Brett Weslowski there in sixth. All right, starting grid for heat number 2. It's gonna be here. Okay, I didn't realize I had that all scooped up. Here we go, now we're good now. There we got Bob the Good out there in front, Zach Chapman there in second, Dean Reynolds third, Joseph Grandy fourth, Jeff Buckner there fifth, Michael Machillo there in sixth. That is your starting grid. Zach Chapman out there on the outside pole, starting second. Dean Reynolds starting there in third. Grandy there in fourth. Now they work around here 2 laps to green. Now a lap and a half. There you got that pace car out there in front. I work there off the corner. Shaggy TV up there on that outside lane. He will be here tomorrow night for your viewing pleasure. Bringing you the modified series tomorrow night as I try to make some headway. As we know, for me, it's a little bit of a problem to try to make any headway in any of the races. I just can't seem to get forward momentum going. The moment I do, I end up in the back. So, here we go. Working off turn number 4. Shaggy TV and Bob the Good gonna bring them to the green flag, and they're down and away. Shaggy getting a great start up there on that outside lane. Gonna let Bob the Good come up there in front of them as they work down there in the 3 and 4. Shaggy now there to the tail tank of the 7 of Bob the Good as they work there off the corner. Had to make way there. And now he looks underneath of the 7 to 518 and Grandy looking to his outside. Grandy, a good, strong competitor here at Coast to Coast. As they're side by side, coming there off turn number 4. Shaggy trying to get that bottom lane momentum to work for him. Can't quite get it as he's still side by side with Bob the Good through the corner. Now he's got the 518 there up top. And there goes Shaggy. Oh no, Shaggy got into the 7 of Bob the Good. That is not how he wanted to make that pass. Now as Shaggy takes the lead, there out front. Grandy there second, Dean Reynolds third. The 518 is going to get by Chapman okay. As Shaggy looks back down to the inside, coming there in the 1 and 2. Diving it back up. I think we've got about 3 laps to go here. 2 laps to go rather. As they work there, Chapman's out there in front. What happened there? Not sure exactly what happened as Grandy ends up in the pits. And what final lap there coming there out of the corner. Chapman out there in front. Dean Reynolds second. Michael there in third. Grandy Barker into good. Man, oh man, what a night. What the heck happened there as Chapman gets the win here in heat number 2. See here if we can get anything to come up. Hey, watch him there. Out there in front, you see the 72 there. And Dean gets into the back, and they just all collide there. Oh, man, what a ride goes Joseph Grandy. Man, oh, man, oh, man. That is not the way they wanted that to go for sure. Now they'll get into warm-ups. We will be back. Hold on here. We'll get with your Heat 2 results. With Zach Chapman getting the win. Dean Reynolds second. Michael Bacillo there third. Joseph Grandy fourth. Jeff Barker fifth. Bob DeGood in sixth. Going to be an interesting race, folks. Don't go anywhere. We got more racing coming up for your 360 Wing Sprint Cars from Volusia here at Coast2Coast Racing Network.
Thank you to our sponsors and partners for the 2025-2026 winter season.
All right, starting here. All right, here we go. Starting here with the with your grid. Here we go. Your starting grid tonight for the 360 Wing Sprint Car. Brian Moore out there in front with that pole position, driving at number 55 to 72. Zach Chapman there in the number 70. Oh, I'm sorry. Brian Moore is driving to 55 out there on pole. In position number 2, Zach Chapman on that outside row is driving to number 72. Row number 2 on that inside lane to 99. Gavin Chatham gonna start there in third. Dino there driving to 79 starts there in fourth. Row number 3 on that inside lane. Teddy Bear, Ted York, there on the bottom side, the 09, starting in 5th. Michael Machio, there in 6th, the 147. There in row number 4 on that inside lane, Steven Bixler, driving at number 75, starts 7th. The 518, Joseph Grandy, starts to his outside in 8th. Pat Boys, there in 9th tonight, driving at number 41 to his outside there in row number 5. Jeff Barker driving a 513. Row number 6 on that inside lane, the 11 spot going to Brett Weslowski driving a number 25. Bobby Good starts there in the 7, starting in 12th tonight. That is your starting grid as we get ready to go. 25 laps here at Volusia for your main event of the 360 Wing Sprint Cars. Off of 4, green flag out in the corner number 1. Shaggy has the line up there on that outside lane. Trying to get up there beside Brian Moore. Will do so down there in the corner 3 and 4. But Brian Moore, he's going to go and close the door on Shaggy. Shaggy's now going to dive down there to the inside and does so through 1 and 2. Going to slide it on through up there in front of Brian Moore. Got to be careful up there against that high side. You don't want to catch that opening. Having worked there off turn number 4, Brian Moore on that inside lane. Then side by side, there you see Chatham trying to roll his way up there. There comes Dean, and we got our first caution. Brett Weslowski having issues. We'll check the on the bowl instant replay here from FFPB. And watch the roll there off of the corner. You see him 3 wide. Coming there as the 25 ends up into the inside wall down there. Tears their wing off and tows it back there, or brings it back to the pits. We'll get them re-racked, restacked, re-racked. Go for another restart. Weslowski with a black flag down the lap in the pits. The admins clear that. And they work there through 1 and 2. Zach Chapman still in 2nd. As Gavin Chatham is there in 3rd. I'd say 2 more times around here. We should get the 1 to go next time. Everybody starts to get lined up side by side. Shaggy did a great job out there on that outside lane. And here we go. Lights go out. And we will be back green flag racing as they come back around here. Down that back straightaway, everybody side by side. Gavin Chatham there on the inside behind Brian Moore. Chapman and Reynolds on that high side. Ted York in 5th down there on the bottom. Would like to try to get up there to battle for position. Red moves it on down and on the pit road. Here we go. Green flag back in the air in the corner number 1. They go throwing dirt, sliding here through 2. As you see, Shaggy's there in 2nd, gonna try to get a run down there on the inside. Will do so, slides it on up, and Brian Moore's gonna undercut him. Can't quite get there as they roll that through 1 and 2. Shaggy's up there on that high side, trying to pinch Brian Moore down. As they work that through 3 and 4, and a little wiggle out of Shaggy. Off the corner, Shaggy still runs 2nd, Chatham runs 3rd. With Reynolds there running 4th as they work down through there. Ted York still rolls back there in fifth at the far right of your screen. Down there off turn number 4. Shaggy back to the lead there in the 1 and 2. Brian Moore trying to get back underneath him here as they head through 3 and 4. Shaggy hangs on to that top line. Down there through off the corner. Shaggy's going to undercut. Can't quite get there that time as they head there in the 1 and 2. He'll oh no, Shaggy into the inside wall. That's going to hurt his speed a little bit there as he drops back to 4th. Now as Dean Reynolds gets up there in the 2nd. Here comes the 99 of Chatham. Working down there through the front straightaway. Brian Moore, you're a leader still. Now you're watching Zach Chapman back there for it. Chatham there in 3rd. Reynolds there in 2nd. There you see Shaggy really working the bottom side. Couldn't quite get it to hook the way he needed to. Ted York now getting underneath the Shaggy as they roll through 3 and 4 with Lowski with a black flag. Got to serve that as they head on out there on the bottom side. Ted York now has Randy to his outside. Trying to hold off Randy, but find a way around Shaggy as well. They roll there through 3 and 4. Brian Moore driving at 55 out there in front. Down there through 1 and 2. Chatham now looking for the lead underneath of Brian Moore. Can't quite get there as they head there through 3 and 4. Chatham pulls in behind of Brian Moore up there on that high side line and dives it down here in the 1 and 2. Tough track to try to get past that. Has it high speed here around the outside. There we see Chatham getting a good line. Brian Moore, we'll see if he undercuts him coming down here into corner number 1. Won't do so. He'll stay out high. As Chatham rolls the bottom there through 1 and 2. Back up there to the outside. Back down there to the middle coming through 3 and 4. Slides it on up. Running that short slider out of the corner. Brian Moore now 2nd. Reynolds there 3rd. Randy there for Ted York. Still rolls 5th. As Chapman, Mr. Shaggy TV himself, falls back there in the 6th. There you watch roll there, 10 laps to go as they roll out of 2. You're watching Randy up there on that outside lane there behind the 79 of Dean Reynolds as they work there off. There comes Ted York down there on the bottom side, trying not to slide up there in to Ted York. I'm sorry, in the Grandy rather. Ted York works that bottom. There you see Chatham out front, comfortable lead now. Now we see Dino there in 3rd, trying to get underneath of Brian Moore. Can't quite get there as they head there into 3 and 4. Brian Moore down there on the outside with Dean Reynolds on the inside coming there off turn number 2. The 55 there on the high side. We got Brian Moore on the outside. Dean Reynolds there trying to get something through the middle. Can't quite get there. Ted York sitting there in 5th. And they roll down out of the corner through the back stretch as we watch Gavin Chatham there out front. Running that number 99. Brian Moore out there in 2nd. Dean Reynolds in 3rd. Down that back straightaway. 5 laps to go here at Volusia. Rolling through 3 and 4. Ted York 5th. Joseph Grandy there 4th. Gavin Chatham's got himself a nice lead down there on the back straightaway. As you see, Reynolds trying to chase down Brian Moore. Just can't seem to quite get there. Working off turn number 4. Back across here to strike. 3 laps to go for Gavin Chatham working there off turn number 2. Dean Reynolds back here in 3rd. Brian Moore 2nd. Joseph Grandy there 4th. Ted York there in 5th. Zach Chapman there in 6th. And now we got down off of here. 2 laps to go off the corner for Brian Moore. Gavin Chatham out there in front off turn number 4. Got a commanding lead. 2.5 seconds. Nobody to compete with him as he works off a 2 down that back straightaway for the final time here at Volusia tonight. As the 360 week sprint car winner coming across the line, it's Gavin Chatham getting the win here tonight at Volusia. Brian Moore 2nd. 3rd going to Dean Reynolds. I'll wait for your main results to come in. Here is your main results. Gavin Chatham out there in front. Brian Moore second. Dean Reynolds third. Joseph Grandy fourth. Ted York will get fifth tonight. Zach Chapman, otherwise known as Shaggy TV himself, gets sixth. Jeff Barker there seventh. Stephen Bixler there in eighth. Bob the Good there ninth. Pat Boyce there 10th. Brett Kozlowski there in 11th. And Michael Baccio gets there in 12th. All right, here we go with your winners. We see Dean Reynolds, Brian Moore, and Gavin Chatham. See what we can do here. Now, Dean Reynolds gets third tonight. Good evening there, Dean. How's it going?
How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing well. Man, that 79 World of Outlaws machine looked great out there tonight in that third spot. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get much more out of it, it seemed.
The truck had a lot of speed, and once Gavin got out front, if Gavin is on, no one's going to get Gavin. Gavin is the class of the field, and he's the guy that you want to shoot for to get your speed and learn from him. And thank God he's part of the FTM team, and he teaches us a lot of tips and tricks and stuff to what to do and everything else. And and congrats to Brian. Brian had a great run. He won his heat. It's good to see Brian back on Wednesday nights, and we gave it a shot trying to run the bottom there, see if I can get him a couple times on that bottom. And it was there, but not quite there. But that was fun. It was a lot better than what we had in the limited late models. We didn't have a lot of fun in there. There was some iffy driving in that race, unfortunately. But here, we only had one yellow in the sprints, and the guys did what they're supposed to do.
Well, you did a great job. You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank there tonight for getting that third place?
Oh, yeah, we got to thank the guys from Full Throttle Motorsports. As I said, Gavin Chatham for being on the team and helping us with the sprints. Got to thank you, Adam, for doing the telecast. Mission 22 for helping out so you can do the telecast. Regal's Wraps and Designs, we want to thank you as well. I was hoping to bring your late model there in the top three so we can talk to you in the limited late models, but it didn't quite work. But we got to thank you for all you do. We got to thank Coast to Coast for giving us a place to stay. And, it's funny that you say the World of Outlaws. I work for the company that owns the World of Outlaws and Dirt Vision and Super Dirt Car Series. So, if it wasn't for my employer, I wouldn't be able to afford to race. So I guess I better thank them. And, congrats to Brian and Gavin on a great race.
Well, you say you work there for the World of Outlaw stuff. Do you still come into Lernerville at all?
We don't do Lernerville anymore. They decided to go a different avenue with a couple other divisions and classes, and that's okay. Tracks come and go, and they make changes with what they do to seem fit. And we go to Sharon. We go to their neighboring track at Sharon, and we got a good partnership there. We bring all three entities, the sprints, the late models, and the big blocks there at Sharon, and really enjoy going there and enjoying the Blaney family and the ownership there. And so we have a lot of fun at Sharon.
Well, the reason why I asked is I think it'd be pretty cool if we could meet up sometime. I just didn't know if you ever made it down to Lernerville anymore.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a couple of years. I don't know when I'll get back, but like I said, Sharon's not that far away, so maybe
no, it's not. There. Well, it's very well possible. So great job there tonight, Dean, in that 79, and you coming out to give your hand at Lernerville tonight?
No, I'm part of another league I'm helping out with and stuff at 8:30. So, unfortunately, my midget racing is going to be done for a little bit. So, we're going to head on over there.
Alrighty. Well, good luck over there, and congrats on third place here tonight.
All right, Adam. Thanks so much.
Alrighty, that was Dean Reynolds. I will get with Brian Moore. Good evening there, Brian. How's it going?
Good. Having a good night.
Well, you got second tonight. You started out there on pole, but unfortunately, as we heard from Dean, just once Chatham finds his groove, there's just no catching him.
Yeah, and I was holding on to the lead there, and I kept wondering how long is it going to take Gavin to catch me. And then when I could be getting there, I knew it was just a matter of time before he'd get by me. But I'm happy just to hold on to second there. So, you know, I've been having a lot of trouble with this thing glitching and blinking, and I kind of went through everything again today and rearranged it. I think it did a lot better tonight, so hopefully we're getting there.
All right, you did a great job. I mean, it looked good out there. You did a great job getting it up there into the top 3 and coming home with a second-place podium. You got sponsor shots. Anybody you want to thank?
Just you for doing the broadcast, and Coast to Coast for giving us a league to race, and Gavin for running a clean race there and passing me clean. And I got to give a shout out to Shaggy, man. That was kind of fun, the first part of that race. I don't know what really happened to him. I think Gavin said that he touched the inside wall or something and took his momentum away. But
yeah, he caught the inside in 1 and 2.
Yeah. Well, that was fun anyway. I got to give a shout out to my brother Rick and Rona, and maybe we can start putting this thing on the podium a little more. So.
Well, you did a great job tonight, and I can't wait to see what you have going forward. Are you coming out to play with the midgets at all, or are you done for the night?
I'm probably done for the night. I don't play with the midgets very much. But,
all righty. Well, good job tonight, and we'll see you next week then.
All right. Great. Thank you.
I have Brian Moore, your second place. Now we'll get with Gavin, your winner. Good evening there, Gavin. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going tonight?
Well, you started third and worked your way up there into the front position, and just kind of ran away with it once you got that clean air.
Yeah, no, we were bad. Or I'm sorry, Zach and Brian were battling there, and it was tough to make passes because those guys were, dicing up, going back and forth, and I wanted to give enough room so we weren't all collected into it. And Zach made a little mistake there, got in the wall, and it opened the door for us to get in there, and I was able to slide Dean, and then I was getting some really good runs down on the bottom, and 1 and 2 on Brian, and just one lap I got a really good run, and I was able to get beside him. I think I actually might have cleared him, and then going in 3 and 4, I just threw the slider, and then smooth sailing from there. But all in all, the car felt really good tonight, and you just had to be really consistent and smooth, especially on the bottom of 1 and 2. But it was definitely fast down there for sure. I think the top was just a little pushed up just a little too much, and the bottom wasn't slick enough yet. But yeah, no, it was good. Once we were able to get out in front there, it was pretty smooth sail, and you can just make laps and keep your momentum up and just do what you need to do to go out there and win.
Well, you did a great job, and you got sponsor shots. Anybody you want to thank for getting that victory tonight?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for doing an awesome job with the broadcast. I want to thank Coast2Coast Racing and all the sponsors, admin, everybody that helps put these races on and allows us to come out here and do what we like to do. I just want to thank FTM, Full Throttle Motorsports, Mike Schick Motorsports Design, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, Chatham Motorsports, Super Dare Car Series, Vertex Graphics. Just want to thank all the sponsors, all the help and support we get. I just want to thank the fans for coming out and watching these races, and I hope we put on a good show for y'all tonight. And I just want to thank my fans as well for always taking time to watch races.
Well, great job there tonight, and can't wait to see what we got going forward. Are you done for the night, or are you going to come out and play with the midgets?
I'm terrible at midgets, so I know one wants to see me race those, but we have a 360 at Lava Land for Regal's 360 360 sprint car, so I'm gonna be heading over to that. I'll stick with something I'm a little better at driving.
Alrighty, well, good luck over there, Gavin, and you have yourself a great night. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Always a pleasure talking to you. Have a great night.
All right, that was Gavin Chatham, your winner here in the 360 Wing Sprint Cars. And as we get over, we got to now hurry up and get our cameras and everything moved up here to Lernerville for the midgets. Don't go anywhere. We got more racing coming up after this short break.
1, 2.
They say it's a matter of time, 1,000 days and the sun won't shine before I come back to you. For your love I will go far. I wanna be wherever you are. I know I'm coming back for you.
Brother, it's good to see you.
Our love is a river long, the best ride in a million wrongs. I know I'm coming back to you. And I'm happy, nothing's going to stop me.
Our biggest thing is getting the word out, awareness of Mission 22, the struggle as it is to fight PTSD and suicide. My name is Corey Decker. I'm the state representative for Mission 22. The issue has been great. We got a bunch of great guys that have gotten together and decided to create this rally. The word's getting out, and it's turned into quite an event where we can actually help a lot of veterans. It's a great event, but you really have to go and see it for yourself, and it's really one of those things that's an experience. Just going that weekend, we've seen how it changes people.
All right, we're back here from the Speedway. We're going to catch you up here on the points real fast. Jack Hitt, he's your points leader with 527. Jeff Barker with 498. Bob DeGoyle with 486. Brandon Templeton with 417. And four with Jack Clevenger. They're in a fifth with 253. That is your points leads right now. Now you're watching from there out of turn number 1 and 2 down there on the bottom side. You watch Brandon Templeton. Jack Hitt, he is your points leader, as we said. Got there in that Hooters number 217. Now I want to know what the fastest time with a 15 flat. Mike Mason Hine with a 15.232. Jack Hitt with a 15.291. They'll bring it out of turn 4. Just a few more moments and we'll be going and getting ready here. 7 drivers so far here tonight. Hoping we can get more. I see more there in the 888. Jack Hitt back there in the 4. In the 513 in 4th position. Brandon Templeton out there in the 31. Here we go. They have advanced. Qualifying commencing. There you see Stephen Moore, or Steve Moore. Jack hit in that 217. Going to get a good jump there on his qualifying time as he comes there through 1 and 2. Down that back straightaway. Here coming out of turn 3 and 4. And out through that front straightaway. Got a good time going so far. As Jack hit comes off. There you see Templeton coming off turn number 4. Pink. And he will have a 15.064. Now we see who else is out there on track. Jack hit working there on the back stretch with a 15.302. Marr with a 15.511. Now you see Jack hit work there off turn number 4 down that front straightaway. With a 15.302 is going to be his time. Barker with a 15.389 coming there off turn 4. He's going to have a 15.389 for his time. Stephen Bixler out there in the 75. Gas Monkey. 15.609 for Mr. Bixler. Here we go for your heat race. Now we get them set. Your heat race number 1 coming up. Beautiful hover shots of Lernerville. We're just waiting on this to finish up as it's still saying qualifying. There goes the checker flag. Starting grid for your Regal Wraps midgets. Jeff Barker out there in front. Mason Hine there in second. Jack hit third. Brandon Hamilton there in fourth. Stephen Moore there fifth. Bob the Good sixth with Stephen Bixler starting seventh. That is your heat race for the midgets tonight. They get ready to roll here tonight down that back, or getting ready to roll out of here, the pits here. See Templeton there, he'll be starting third. Jack hit out there starting in third. They see Templeton starting fourth up there on that outside lane. 25 or 6 laps of distance here in the heat race. You got that 89 of Mason Hine out there in second. Now you can continue around here off of the corner. Green flag in the air. Here we go. They're down and away in the corner number 1. Slinging that dirt around turn number 2. Side by side, Jack hit. Had to back out of it just a little bit as he was down there on the bottom side. Templeton up there on the top side. These guys got a wide track to mess with tonight. As they work down that front straightaway, Mason Hine, Jeff Barker, Templeton down there as well. Templeton trying to get a good run. He will get a good run there off of turn 2. Down that back straightaway, Mason Hine out there in front. Barker down there on that inside lane. And they're all stacked up there coming there out of turn 4. Steve Carr turned the wrong way, going to get it back on the way. Here comes Mason Hine. Barker, Bixler, Templeton. Templeton was your fastest in qualifying. As you see, Bixler letting them around as they roll that bottom. Coming off of 4. Barker up there in second. 3 laps to go here in the heat race. Down here through the back stretch, Mason Hine out there in front. Great looking number 89 as you got Templeton there in third. Bixler there fourth. Bobby Good fifth. Steve Marr there sixth. Jack hit in seventh. Working on down there out of the back corner. Everybody's looking great. Barker second. Templeton there third. Bob the Good there in the fifth. Stephen Marr there sixth. And Mason Hine working there in front. Jeff Barker there in second. Brandon Templeton there in third. Stephen Bixler there fourth. Bob the Good in fifth. Jack hit down there in seventh. Mason Hine out there getting a win in the heat race. Heat race number 1 results are as follows. Mason Hine, Jeff Barger, Brandon Templeton gets third, Stephen Bixler fourth, Bobby Good there fifth, Stephen Moore there sixth, Jack Hitt seventh. We'll be back after these short messages. Don't go anywhere, your main event of the midgets coming right up.
Precision is our language. Creativity is our weapon. And perfection is the only option. Your ride, your brand, your image. Elevated to the level it can't be. This isn't just a battle, it's a revolution. Regal Wraps and Designs. The power of purpose is the style that has come forever. At Regal Wraps and Designs, we don't follow trends, we set them. Every line, every finish, we take your vision and redefine it. Simple statements, powerful accents. We are Regal Wraps and Designs. Thank you to our sponsors and partners for the 2025-2026 winter season.
All right, here we are back at Lernerville for the main event of the Regal Wraps Midgets. Mason Hines starting out there on pole in that number 89. There in second to his outside. That is going to be the likes of Jeff Barker driving at number 513, Brandon Templeton. There in the 31, starting there third, outside row number 2, Stephen Bixler in fourth place, driving in number 75. Row number 3 on that inside lane, the 7 of Bob the Good starts fifth with the 888 of Stephen Marr there in sixth. Row number 4 on the inside, rounding out your field there in seventh is the 217 of Jack Hitt. Jack Hitt, your points leader here in the midgets. Gotta try to work up through the field here tonight. 25 laps the distance here at Lernerville. Hey, what? Work down that back straightaway. Pace car's off. Here we go. Green flag out of turn 4. And down and away they go into corner number 1. Dirt flies through 2. Templeton down there on that inside lane. Templeton, your fastest car out there tonight. As he dives back down there on the bottom side, getting that thing hooked up. And away he'll go out there in front. Mason Hino going to make a good battle for it out there on the second spot. As they come there off turn number 2, Jeff Barker there third. Jack Hitt battling there for fifth. If he can just get around Bob the Good, who's down there on that inside lane. And does so now. He's working there, getting around. As we say, trying to get around Bob the Good, trying to set his sights on Steven Mixler. In that gas monkey number 75. Working off turn number 4. Up there across the front. Mason Hine sitting there second. Templeton out there in front. Barker in third. 22 laps to go here for your Regal Wraps Midgets. Mission 22 hometown heroes here this Wednesday night. Jeff Barker out there third. Mason Hine second. Templeton out leading the way. Bixler back here for it. Jack Hitt trying to chase him down to try to improve his position. Your points leaders here. Heads through 3 and 4. Doing a great job so far. Trying to get back up there into the pack. And he runs there through on the middle to bottom lane. Through 1 and 2. A little bounce coming off of 2. As they work through 3 and 4. And that's the one thing with these cars. They are definitely light on the front end. So the last thing you want to do, oh no, they get together. Jack Hitt slides it sideways. They're getting into the side of Steven Bixler. Bixler down and around down there on the bottom side, trying to get it going again. Here comes the leader off of turn number 2. Bixler now a lap down there on that inside. As the leaders come by him on the outside. Templeton leading the way still down there on that bottom side. More Jack Hitt and Bixler getting gathered up there. Bixler the first one to go lap down there. You see Moore working down through the front stretch. There's Jack Hitt trying to gain some more position, but lost ground there. Not Bob the Good, who's by himself coming off turn number 4. There you see Jeff Barger by himself working there off of 2. Mason Hine, no one around him. As you see these gaps, there's about a second gap between everybody besides Templeton and Hine, as it looks to be about a 2-second gap between Templeton and Hine. Then a second back to Jeff Barker, and then a second back to our second and a half back to Bob the Good. Then you got Jack Hitt back there about 6 seconds. Bixler still trying just to get some laps in as he rolls up there to the outside. Or there in 6th, Jack Hitt in 5th. Bob the Good sitting there in 4th. Jeff Barker on the bottom side there in 3rd, doing a great job so far here as they work through 3 and 4 back out here into the front stretch of Lernerville. Everybody just kind of single file here at the most part. Templeton just running away with it right now. Out there in front, Mason Hine did close that gap a little bit though, down to a second and a half. It was up there almost to 2 seconds, so Mason Hine really working there as we got Bixler having issues once again. As yellow flag will come out this time. On the full instant replay will show us exactly what happened here. Down the front straight away, you see Bixler come there into turn 1 and 2. Slides it on around, going to end up coming down and looping it back around and off the back of the track. Ends up parked up there on the top side too long, bringing out the caution flag. So that'll get them all bunched back up again. They work down there off turn number 1 and 2. Single file restart most likely. Now maybe we might go double file. We'll see here. Hey, driver really full on a show here. Lights still on. Coming down through the front stretch. Mason Hine out there in second. Brandon Templeton, your race leader. Lights go out. They are going to go double foul. So we must not be under 10 to go yet. There you watch him come down that back straightaway. The 31 of Templeton down there on that inside line. And off the corner they go. You got that dirt track bank. Number 1 out there in the front. Mason Hine there in second. Jeff Barker going to try to see if he can get anywhere with it. Jack Hitt probably thankful for their caution as he'll get back up here in the mix. Working there on the bottom, off of 4 rather. Down here in the 1 and 2. 10 laps to go now as they head here off of 2. Jack Hitt now in the third. Up there on that outside lane here in the corner at 3 and 4. Up there along the middle. And then slides it down a little bit to come off. As Jack Hitt tries to hang on to that third spot. But Barker doing a good job down there on the bottom side, but not enough. As Jack Hitt will take third. Mason Hine there in second. Templeton doing a great job rolling that bottom. And Barker tries to keep rolling that bottom like Templeton. They roll there off turn 2 down that back straightaway. Barker now there in the third again. And he's Templeton up there along that Hitt up there along that outside line. And we see Barker down there trying to hold on to that bottom side. Jack Hitt, great run off of 2. Can he make it hold as he rolls there through the middle of 3 and 4? Barker down there on the inside. Jack Hitt got the head of steam at the moment. Working there through 1 and 2. Back up there off. Right now the fastest one on the speedway is Jack Hitt with a 15.54. Templeton ran a 15.66 that last time. With a 15.64 out of Jack Hitt. Jack Hitt, 5 laps to go, has a possibility of getting second if he can get up there and make the pass. Here through 1 and 2 he goes, working there off of turn 2. Down that back straightaway, getting that power down to the track is always the tricky part. Working here through turn 3 and 4. Working at a little bit higher line than the drivers in front of him. As Jack Hitt has been doing all race long, 3 laps to go. Here as he works off of 2 down that back straightaway. And dives it there in the 3 and 4. Looks like at 89 up Mason Hine. Gonna try a different line as well. He sees Jack Hitt rolling up bottom, or hears him at least. There comes Jack Hitt, 2 laps to go. They work here out of turn number 4. Brandon Templeton down there on the bottom side, looking good. Final lap, white flag in the air. They headed on out there through the back straightaway in the 1 and out of 1 and 2. Through 3 and 4. Final time as they come off the corner. It will be Brandon Templeton getting that win with Jack Hitt there in second, overcoming Mason Hine for that second spot. 0.06 of a margin on the main feed here. We'll see if that remains the interval between him and Hine. And we'll bring it up here and we'll see just how close that second and third place was. Oh, wrong thing here. As we said, Templeton getting the victory here at Lernerville. Jack Hitt second. Mason Hine there in third. Jeff Barker there fourth. Stephen Marr there fifth. Bob DeGood there sixth. Stephen Bixler there in seventh, lap down. So here we go. Now we'll go and get with our winners here. We got Mason Hine, third place. Well, we don't have Mason, but we do have Jack Hitt. Good evening there, Jack. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing well. Kind of take us through. How'd you think that Hooters car did here tonight?
Oh, the car was doing everything right. Driver just didn't for the first 20 laps or so.
Well, I mean, it seemed like it came to you there towards the end, just unfortunately just not enough to really dial it in enough to get up there to Templeton before the laps ran out.
Yeah, we had that last restart and went through the middle. I was able to get around Jeff there, and then for some reason I decided I should try the high side, and he started coming back around me, so I went back to that middle line and was able to run down Mason, and I know I was gaining on Brandon. Probably wouldn't have had a shot at him if we had some more time, but yeah, found something there at the end.
Well, you did a great job getting there up to second, and you got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank?
Got to thank Regal Wrapping Designs, Fleet of Farms TV, everyone here at Coast to Coast, all the guys that come out and put on a race. You know, we only had 7 cars here, and we've had less a couple times this season, but I feel like we still put on pretty good races, and I know everybody's having a good time. That's what it's all about. So, yeah, just thanks to everybody coming out.
All right, well, congrats
And-
there, Jack, and can't wait to see what we got going on next week.
Yeah, and of course I got to thank my wife for giving me time to do it.
Oh yes, can't forget them better halves, right?
Right. Still want to be able to come back next week.
Especially since you're points leading.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to look with drops and everything. I know I've missed a race, Brandon's missed a race, Jeff's been in all of them maybe. We'll see. We got one more week, and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Well, I'm seeing the point standing saying 9 of 9. That left me thinking that tonight was race 10. So, am I wrong in that, or is my math off?
Be race 11. I don't know. They've been sharing some of them with the drops, so maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
Maybe it's only counting 9. Maybe it's already dropped 2 of them. But yeah, we got one more race next week.
Okay. Alrighty, well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, next week is championship week, so should be a good
we'll be
time.
there.
See you there.
Hopefully, we can get some more cars out too. Everybody that's listening, come on out.
For sure. I have the link for Coast to Coast in the description over at Fleeger Farm TV. I don't know if there's one in the description at Coast to Coast Racing Network or not.
Yeah, there is. You know, everything gets posted in the Facebook and on the Discord and everything. So, you know, if there's somebody that's not in the league already interested, of course, you can join at any time. Or, you know, guys that are in the league and just don't come out for midgets regularly. It's a fun time. Everybody's out here just to have a good, fun race. So, let's see if we can get some guys out here.
Alrighty, well, good job there tonight, Jack, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
All right, so that was Jack Hit. Now we'll get with Mason Hine. Good evening there, Mason. How's it going?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. You got third place tonight driving at number 89. Kind of take us through your thoughts on how you felt these midgets did around Lernerville tonight.
Yeah, they're always fun. You know, you kind of can just send them in there, which is fun. Couldn't figure out a way around Brandon. I was trying to run the same line as him. But yeah, obviously he's a lot better than I was. But no, yeah, they're a lot of fun. And then Jack started catching me at the end there, and yeah, it was just a good overall race. I had a lot of fun, and that's what that's all about, you know.
Well, you did a great job there tonight, and you got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting that third place podium position?
Yeah, we got Grand Slam Graphics and Justify Motorsports, and then you for putting this on, and everybody over at Coast to Coast Mission 22, and everything's good to go. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, congrats again there, Mason, and we'll see you next week, hopefully.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, now we'll get with Brandon Templeton, your winner here. Good evening there, Brandon. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
It's going well, man. You did a great job getting that number 31 dirt track bank machine there into victory lane tonight here at Lernerville.
Yeah, I just jumped all over the traction on the inside there against the grass. I mean, that seemed to be the quickest way in the midgets most of the time around Lernerville, so that's what I stuck with, and it seemed to get me there.
Yeah, it's kind of opposite from what we see out of the bigger, heavier cars, right?
Yeah, something about the midgets, they're able to kind of get down there, even like that little berm off of turn 4, if you don't hit it too wrong, you won't wheelie, you can ride right over it, and I know it upsets some of the other cars, but this thing seems to be able to kind of crawl around the inside and keep in the throttle better than most of the cars on iRacing.
Yeah, because I know the late models and the dirt street stocks, you want to be up there against that outside cushion as much as you can.
Yeah, there's so much speed and momentum off of that cushion on turn 4 at Lernerville, but I don't know. It's something about these things. They don't get enough speed off that top side or something. I don't know if it's a gear or engine problem, but they sure like the bottom.
They really always do. It doesn't seem to matter which track you're at. I very rarely found a track for the midgets where they like the outside.
Yeah, that's all right for me. I mean, we have so many classes where we're banging the wall all the time and throwing sliders, so every now and then it's kind of fun to try to do a little digging.
Well, you did a great job getting that thing to dig in tonight and keeping it planted there on the track. As you said, if you catch that berm just the wrong way, these things are so lightweight on the front end that it doesn't take much to get that front end to jump a little bit.
Yeah, you can kind of feel it bouncing up and down, especially like there in turn 3 and 4 when you're hammered down on the throttle right down there against the grass, the front end's trying to come up, and as long as it doesn't get up too far, you can usually kind of stay in the throttle, but it's a fine line.
It definitely is, but it's a fun time.
Yeah, that's what makes them fun. I mean, it's fun just to hot lap them here just because of that. I mean, the midgets are fun any track just because you're on the verge of being out of control.
Well, I know my favorite track to take the midgets is Kokomo.
Yeah, the smaller tracks definitely put on some good racing there. I mean, this Lernerville is probably about as big as you want to race on them for good racing, but I mean, it works out sometimes if you got a few fast guys that can throw it in on the bottom on each other, but overall, good night, we'll take it. So I got to thank Jay with the Dirt Track Bank, Extreme Images, Maley's Makery, Big C's Lawn Care, everybody at Hammer Down Racing, you for putting on a good broadcast all season, Jack for putting on, the admin job all season, keeping the midgets going, at least for this season. Hopefully we get some more numbers, and Mason had a good run there tonight too, so hats off to him.
Well, you did a great job. So that was Brandon Templeton getting a win here tonight. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the broadcast here at Coast to Coast Racing Network and over at Flicker Farm TV on the pole here tonight from Lernerville and Volusia earlier in the evening. So thank you all for coming out and watching, and have yourselves a great, wonderful night. We will be back tomorrow night at Coast to Coast Racing Network with more racing action as we bring out the modifieds and then move on to the pro late model. So be sure to tune in to Coast to Coast Racing Network. And then over here at Flicker Farm TV, if you're wanting to watch the show in the entirety tomorrow night, check out Coast to Coast Racing Network. Otherwise, the pro late models will be here at Flicker Farm TV tomorrow night. Again, thank you for watching. We will be saying good night from Lernerville.
you